The ocean is full of giants, from colossal squid to gigantic whales. These titans are truly magnificent, but they're also surprisingly chatty. Even though people have been exploring the oceans for centuries, we're just now discovering how whales communicate with each other. And what we've learned so far is both fascinating and a little bit alarming. One of the most common misconceptions about whales is that they can only make a sound when they're rebreathing. In reality, some whale species spend so much time underwater that their vocalizations could easily go unnoticed if we were listening carefully. Whales can be remarkably quiet animals. They might be chatting away in a bubble just below the surface, but unless you know where to look, you'd never see them. Sometimes these bubbles are just a few inches below the surface, while at other times, they may be over 30 feet under. When it comes to chatting, some whales can keep things hushed, too. Dolphin whistles are among the loudest noises made by any marine mammal. The sounds are used to identify individuals and can travel for miles underwater. But humpback whale songs are among the quietest sounds ever recorded in the sea. The acoustic energy of a humpback whale song is lower than many other whale vocalizations and can be more than 20 decibels quieter than the sounds made by sperm whales. You might not even hear this low hum when you're close to the source. When a humpback whale was singing right next to a research vessel, the noise floor of the water was less than 145 decibels. Anything above 140 decibels is considered the threshold of hearing for most marine mammals. For context, a blue whale call can reach 188 decibels, so humpbacks are masters of discretion. Scientists have yet to decipher the meaning behind these songs. But it's possible they're used to attract mates or defend territory. Humpbacks sing while underwater, even though their songs are too quiet for humans to hear. So researchers had to get up close and personal to spy on them. Researchers say that although the songs seem to have some acoustic similarities to other whale calls, they are often completely different from one another. This suggests that every humpback has its own unique voice. It's like having a song for just one person. And scientists think this may be part of the reason why humpbacks sing. Blue whales are the largest creatures on Earth, growing up to 100 feet long and weighing as much as 400 tons. Despite their size, blue whales are incredibly graceful in the water. When two blue whales come across each other, they'll perform a special trick to avoid colliding head-on. Known as a bow rider turn, this maneuver allows the whales to see around the other's head, reducing the risk of an accident. But these turns are dangerous. If done wrong, they could end in a nasty head-on collision. And blue whales aren't always successful in avoiding such crashes. In fact, these collisions are thought to be one of the reasons blue whales have such large heads. In a study published in 2022, researchers looked at the shape of blue whale skulls to learn more about their evolution, according to lead author and biomechanics researcher Jeremy Davis. The bumps and scrapes on the front of the skull indicate that blue whales regularly bump into each other. During bow riding, two blue whales will swim toward each other at several miles per hour before veering off at the last second. The whales use their tails to steer, slapping the water with up to 700 pounds of force. That's enough to stun a smaller whale. But a glancing blow from a massive tail could also seriously injure a whale's head.
Ow.
Blue whales aren't the only ones who sometimes get the wrong way. Other species of baleen whales also participate in bow riding, but fin whales are too nimble to be good at it. The researchers believe that they're simply too small to engage in this risky behavior. The smallest blue whales are still nearly twice the size of the largest fin whales. Another theory is that fin whales just do live in places where there are many other fin whales to bump into. While studying blue whale calls in 2022, researchers realized that the bow riding explanation was a lot more plausible than they'd thought. In recordings of blue whale calls, scientists heard evidence of bow riding attempts that failed. You can hear the moment when one whale crashes into the other by the loud banging sound. It's almost like a car crash, except instead of metal, it's flesh and blubber. Listening to these recordings also gave scientists insight into how blue whales find mates. Male blue whales are known to produce long, drawn-out calls, but until now, it wasn't clear what the females were doing in response. Analysis of the recordings revealed that female blue whales produce a series of distinctive pulses in answer to male calls. It's unknown whether this is an invitation to mate or a friendly hello, but scientists hope to keep listening in until they find out. When it comes to talking with each other, communication isn't just verbal. Some whales can communicate through touch. Dolphins have been observed gently nudging other dolphins in the water with their noses. They may do this to initiate sex, but they also seem to gently push each other around for fun. Meanwhile, beluga whales are known to stroke each other's skin with their flippers and snouts. Belugas are highly social creatures, and experts believe they use touch to form bonds with each other. Speaking of which, did you know that whales can recognize themselves in the mirror? Some can. Self-recognition indicates a high level of intelligence, and scientists believe that self-awareness helps belugas form social bonds. Okay, so we've talked about whales communicating with each other. Now let's talk about how they talk to us. You've seen the classic movie Star Trek? No. You may remember the scene in which Captain Kirk tries to communicate with an alien species by imitating bird songs. Like Kirk, many scientists have tried to get whales to talk to them. But unlike Kirk, most haven't had much luck. However, one scientist named Hank Wyson was able to develop his very own whale language. His efforts began in 1969 when he worked with the U.S. Navy to record sounds made by captive whales. Weissman wanted to understand how whales produce sounds, and the Navy hoped to use the knowledge to create a sonar system. Working with 5 trainers, Weissman spent hours watching and listening to a captive humpback whale named Kathy. He noticed that she would produce different sounds in response to particular hand signals. He used this knowledge to develop his own system of hand signals, which he used to teach her new sounds. Over time, Kathy learned to associate new sounds with new hand signals. By 1971, she knew about 30 distinct sounds, and scientists had developed a vocabulary of 50 symbols. Although Kathy was no longer alive in 1976, the work done with her led to the discovery of a new species of whale. Using the knowledge gained from Kathy, researchers were able to identify a group of whale songs that had been incorrectly classified as the songs of humpback whales. Thanks to this discovery, scientists are now able to protect a unique population of whales in the waters around Australia. Wyson continued to develop his system of whale communication for decades. At one point, he even taught a captive killer whale to speak sign language, but eventually he had to stop. As the years went on, fewer and fewer people were interested in teaching whales to speak. Eventually, Weissman retired his whale language in 2017. He died the following year. But his work laid the foundation for future discoveries and helped pave the way for researchers to continue learning how to talk to whales. It's important to note that all whales are different. Each species has its own unique way of communicating. So although researchers can learn a lot by observing one species of whale, it doesn't necessarily apply to others. For example, in 2022, scientists discovered that sperm whales use a type of echolocation to navigate murky waters. Sperm whales typically use echolocation to find prey, but the technique doesn't usually work well in dark or dirty water. But tests revealed that when visibility was low, sperm whales changed the pitch of their clicks and the spacing between them. This allowed them to accurately map out their surroundings. A similar technique wouldn't work for blue whales because they don't live in places with murky water. Not only does this make it harder for them to find food, but it also makes it harder for them to spot predators. Blue whales have evolved to avoid murky water altogether. There are some exceptions to this rule. For example, during migration, blue whales enter murky waters off the coast of South Africa. It's believed that the whales intentionally swim through the murky water in order to confuse predators, allowing them to sneak past undetected. As our world changes, it's becoming more and more important for whales to be able to adapt to different environments. After all, the ocean is changing faster than it ever has before. Understanding how whales communicate will help us protect them. This is especially true for blue whales, which are endangered due to human activity. Climate change is causing shifts in the global climate that affect the whales' food supply. Meanwhile, ships pose a constant threat to their safety. Every year, ships collide with hundreds of whales, killing dozens of them. Noise pollution in the ocean also makes it harder for whales to communicate and may even be deafening them. If we can better understand whales, we can help keep them safe. That's why it's important to continue studying how whales communicate. As we learn more about their languages, we can better understand their behavior, which will allow us to protect them from extinction. Now watch. Are whales friendly? For this video on mysterious ancient message in a bottle found on Scottish Island.